So 2025, I thought was going to be my best year of running, and it ended up starting actually in one of the worst ways I could have possibly planned for. This time last year, I was coming off of my PR in the marathon. I was feeling really good. I'd shaved off over 45 minutes, and I was feeling really fast, really fit in November and December of 2024. And so I started to just throw myself into a lot of speed work. I was working on upping my cadence. I was trying to get more steps per minute, basically, is what that means. And I was just trying to overall, I was just pushing myself to go faster because I was so eager to get to the 3:30 mark for my next marathon, which I was planning for in late spring of 2025. Well, I ended up pushing myself way too hard and ended up flaring up some tendonitis issues that I had in January to the point where I couldn't even really run. I was looking back at my Strava post from earlier this year, and I went for like just a few runs in January, and then in February or the end of January, I irritated the cartilage in my kneecap, which I didn't realize that was something you could do. So I went to my doctor, I went and saw a specialist, and I was just trying to work back and rehab from that. And that just takes time. It takes a lot of time to rehab from irritated cartilage, come to find out. And so what I thought I was going to be able to do was have a great January and February, get a lot of miles in, kind of doing what I'm doing right now. But that ended up not working out. So I had to scrap my marathon plan. And well, you might ask, why couldn't you just push it back to later in the year? Well, thankfully, my wife and I were expecting at the time, so that our baby was due just a couple months after that marathon. And so I had no idea what a life with a baby would look like, and so I just didn't want to plan any big races for after baby was born. So I ended up having to scrap that marathon, which was really frustrating, but also 2025 was off to probably the worst start I could have imagined in that situation without having like a really major injury, like blowing out my Achilles or ACL or doing some really significant damage to my legs. So thankfully I could rehab back from that, and I was trying to stay on the bright side, like look at all the positives, realize like this was giving me an opportunity to learn from the mistakes I made by overtraining and not taking care of myself, not getting enough sleep. Because that was one of the big things, is I wasn't sleeping as much as I should have been. And so while I was pushing myself physically, I wasn't allowing myself to recover physically. So that was challenging, but then also realizing that I have these plans, and sometimes God writes a story a different way, and he was, I think, trying to teach me a different lesson in that time. And so I think one of the crucial lessons was, hey, you also need to understand that staying up late and waking up early is in vain. And one of those things, especially when it comes to running long and running hard, is that you need your rest, you need your sleep. So that's one of the lessons from 2025. One of the other lessons is that, hey, it can still turn out to be pretty good even when your original plans don't go according to plan. So I ended up racing 3 half marathons instead, because you can manage that a lot better around a new baby, I come to find out, than doing a full marathon build. So the first half marathon I just ran with Luke Brunaugh, my training partner, the Spokane, the Shamrock Shuffle in Spokane. It's a half marathon. We did it, when was that? It was like March, April, maybe May. I think it was late March. We ran that. The weather wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. We were both coming off of injury/sickness. He was training for the marathon we had planned to do together, but he was coming off of several weeks of injury, not getting a lot of sleep. And so we just rolled into that with the plan of, hey, let's just run it just to finish it. So we had done a couple training runs before that, where we ran to Troy, we ran to Pullman, and that was like a 9-mile run and then a 13 plus mile run. And that was good. But like my legs were definitely still just coming out of that malaise of the first 2 months of the year. And so I definitely wasn't racing super strong. I wasn't in my PR shape, but I hadn't raced a half marathon in a long time. So I decided, hey, let's just take it easy. So we were on the same page, but we ended up setting a PR for me. Luke's PR, I think, was faster than that. But I ended up going an hour and 57 minutes, and I think my PR had been an hour and 59 minutes or an hour and 58. So that was really cool. We were both feeling really good, and so we just let it roll. And by the time we finished, that was super, super cool. So by the time we finished, I ended up setting a PR, which was awesome. So after that, I was realizing, okay, I can still... I wanted to set my next goal to really get really good at the half marathon. I wanted to crush that PR because that PR was while I was sick and was coming out of an injury. So I wondered, what could I do? So I ended up booking my next one for the race weekend that would have been my marathon in Coeur d'Alene, but we ended up just doing the half. And I ended up running 1 hour and 49 minutes in that. So I had a really great build. Did a really focused 9 weeks of training, which was just refreshing after a really frustrating start to the year. And so set a PR there. And then our baby was born, so I took off, didn't run as intensely, and then set my next goal, which was the Halloween Hustle Half Marathon in Coeur d'Alene once again. But this time, I really just wanted to focus on having a longer build. So I did a 9-week build, and then I decided to do a 12-week build. And that everything went according to plan. I started my YouTube channel around this time, so I was able to kind of capture some of what that looked like on race day, and then my plans going into that, and just kind of talking about what I did to improve in the half marathon distance. And so I set a new PR, which was right around an hour and 42, hour and 43 minutes. So I ended up setting 3 PRs in the half marathon distance, which was incredibly satisfying, but it also indicated that my fitness was increasing. My goal was to go from a sub 4-hour marathon to a sub 3:30 marathon, and now that feels very realistic after I did that in the half marathon a couple months ago. And then finally, to finish off the recap of 2025. So on the last race that I ended up really pushing for was the 5K on Thanksgiving Day, and I was coming out of that last half marathon prep really optimistic. I was feeling very good, and so I decided let's give my 5K PR a shot, and ended up breaking that. So that was great. I ended up going I went under 21 minutes, which was great. So that all was just so positive. And I've ended up running more miles than I have in any year ever. I've done over 1,300 miles to this point. We've still got another week left in the year, so maybe we'll get to 1,400. Probably will be just a little under that. But yeah, the year 2025 was a disappointing start, but it ended up being my best year of running so far, and I've only been doing this for a few years. 10 miles a day, capping off 35-mile week. This will get me to 35 miles, which is the first time I've run north of 30 in like 9 weeks. Anyway, so I have Gatorade for hydration, and then the margarita block pack, which is just so tasty. I'd recommend it to all of you. Tell us what you're drinking, what you're eating.
I got some, I don't know, I think it's called Rehydrate or something like that.
Okay.
I usually go with BPM, but there's 1 scoop left of this other brand that my wife likes, so
yeah.
Let's finish that off. But just water, and then I have 1 gel,
okay,
just in case I need it. I haven't ran more than 6 miles in like 2 months.
3 miles in, going pretty steady, and beautiful weather out. I have a question for Mr. Luke Brunaugh, the training partner of Isaac Lopez Runs channel, the official. How's 2025, dude? What races did you do this year, and how'd they go?
Yeah, it was a successful year, I'd say, overall. It's my second full year of running. I started back in 2023 in October, so we're just past the 2-year mark of consistent training. Yeah, I did several races. Started with the Shamrock Shuffle in Spokane. Isaac and I did that together.
That was a half, right?
That was a half marathon. Yep. That was a funny one because we both decided about a week before the race. So I was like, hey, we're both out of shape and hurt. Let's take it easy. And then we go out and set Isaac's PR.
Yep.
That was fun. We did the charity trot. So charity trot was 5K. That was, when is that? March? April?
Yeah, March or April.
And for me, that race is a stroller race with my kids, so I'm not going for anything crazy. But defending 2-time champ now. So
Yeah, maybe.
that was a success. Then we had the Coeur d'Alene Marathon in May.
That was a big one, baby.
Yeah, that was my big race of this year. My goal was to run sub 4 hours. I ended up running 4:07:22, so I didn't quite hit my goal. But the two big caveats were, well, the biggest caveat was the heat that day. And so
Yeah, it's nasty.
heart rate was crazy high. But the thing that was encouraging for that one was I ran 7 minutes faster than the previous year. Same race, same course,
Yes, sir.
with it being about 12 degrees hotter that
Right.
day. So that was definitely a success. I was happy with that.
All right, time for a snicky snack. Margarita blocks. Luke's already pounding his gel. Go, Joe.
Mango, best flavor.
Let's go. That feels good. 5 miles in. Then we're gonna just turn around and run back.
And let's see, after that we did the Hayden Lake Marathon with my brother and one of his buddies. That one is hard due to all the elevation gain. It ended up being 2,200 feet of gain over a marathon, which is pretty significant.
Pretty much an ultra.
Yeah, and that was a blast. Kind of just took it easy, ran a 4:37. It was my brother's first marathon, so didn't want to, knock the socks off and be like, I'm never doing a marathon again.
Right.
So that was fun.
Just getting it done. That's the important thing.
And then after that was the Freaking Buns Fun Run.
Oh, yeah.
Back in November, Thanksgiving Day. And I ran a little bit slower than I did last year. And that was because I was sick that day. So I tried to pull an Isaac from 2024. I can say I successfully did that.
Yep.
And,
that was miserable.
And then the idea was to run a 5K attempt this morning, but I've had some rough mornings the last few days and decided let's just keep it easy, do long run instead. So yeah, overall, I don't think I broke a single PR, but that's okay. So really enjoyed my year. The first year I broke 1,000 miles.
Consistency.
PR in the marathon? Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't feel like a PR, but it was
You just hit your A goal.
Yeah.
It's not a PB.
Exactly, yeah. 7 minutes faster.
Yeah.
Thanks for catching that. Yeah, next year I'm gonna shoot for 1,200 miles, so
Yes,
miles
sir.
a month. Should be very doable as long as I can stay consistent.
Yeah.
Just get up every morning when I don't feel like it, just getting the job done. So
Absolutely. And we've got our marathons a day apart. He'll be in Coeur d'Alene. Be 17th. He'll be right Spokane from Windermere. And I'll be in Boise Biscuits. So we'll be doing a lot of these runs together.
excited for it.
Let's get after it. And so now, 2026, I expect a lot of great things, but I also understand I need to hold these plans loosely, prioritizing rest and prioritizing a really good game plan for the marathon that I signed up for. May 16th, that's where I'll be going for the 3:30 marathon attempt. And I think I've made December just an aerobic base build, so we're not doing a lot of hard running like we were last year, and then we'll start ramping up. So stick around. I'll be rolling out my marathon plan shortly, and we'll dissect that in the next video. Anyway, until that time, Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year, and let's go run.